Here's how I tricked my ADHD brain into journaling every day. After years of starting journals I never finished, I finally found what worked. Today, I'm sharing the journaling techniques that helped me build an effortless, lasting writing habit inside my Hobonichi 5-year journal. Because it turns out, I didn't need more notebooks. I just needed better techniques. In this video, I'll highlight 7 small changes to make daily journaling feel easier, calmer, and actually sustainable. These are the exact journaling techniques I'm using day after day to keep up on my Hobonichi 5-year journal, a project I plan to keep up every single day for 5 years. If you've been trying to stay consistent, or if you've ever looked at a blank page and sighed, this is for you. These clips are from my first week of November journaling, quiet pages and real moments of writing, filmed as I went. As we go, I'll talk through 7 journaling techniques that I've started using this year that shaped how I journal now. They don't all appear in every shot, but they're woven through every page. These tiny mental shifts and journaling techniques helped me stop chasing perfection and start simply showing up. Technique number 1, start without motivation. The first thing I learned was that it's not helpful to purposefully try to motivate myself. Motivation comes and goes, like good days and bad days come and go. What worked for me was to build comfort instead. I used to put off my writing until I felt ready, but motivation rarely shows up on schedule. If I rely on a feeling of motivation, it's just waiting to be derailed by whatever chaotic thing might happen that day to put me off. Creating a cue that is comforting to me, instead of waiting for that motivation feeling, got me writing consistently. Now, my cue to get out my journal and my pen is my morning coffee. It's become something that I actually look forward to the night before. The moment the mug hits the desk, I open my journal. No pressure, no goal, just a small ritual that says, this is where we start. This technique works because it tells your brain that journaling isn't a task, it's another part of something soothing. Instead of something boring that must be done, now it's part of a little dopamine hit that we neurospicy people crave so much. If you've ever struggled to start, try pairing your journal with something you already love. Let comfort build your consistency. Technique number 2, pre-fill your page. The next journaling technique is to remove the scariest part, the blank page. Every week, I pre-fill my pages with prompts, stickers, and washi tape. That way, each day already has an entry point waiting for me. You don't have to think of the what to write, you just respond. For me, it also helps that the prompts are lighthearted and not too deep. This seems especially necessary for a 5-year journal like this one, or for a journaling practice where you want to write only a few lines per day. This small bit of prep time eliminates the mental hurdle that stops so many people from writing, because when the page already feels halfway complete, your words naturally follow. It also helps with the tricky problem of perfectionism. Without a prompt, I find myself falling into a trap of trying to find the perfect thing to write about. Which thing happened that was most important? What would be funny? What would be significant to talk about? I find myself writing for some imaginary audience of the future, as if my journal will be discovered someday and I need to give tons of context so the fictional person of the future will understand. As you can tell, I desperately needed lighthearted prompts to guide me away from making it so complicated. Technique number 3, micro-journaling. The third technique taught me that you don't need to write a lot each day to make journaling effective. Even brief entries count. Micro-journaling is a low-effort method that strengthens the habit through short, repeatable entries. Sometimes all I write is 1 sentence. Or, if I'm feeling sassy, I might write just 1 word, like meh or nope. I've had days where I fully rejected a prompt, even though I was the one who chose it and put it in there ahead of time. I've thought, what the hell was I thinking when I chose this one? And the thing is, a 1-word, smart-ass answer still counts. This is micro-journaling. In other words, showing up for the conversation even when you don't have much to say. A 1-word response documents the minutiae of everyday life. Some days are cranky days. Some days are boring. Some days the weight of the world is too much. The point is to show up anyway and put something in your journal, even if it's just a doodle or a sticker. When you stop measuring your worth by word count, you start building real habits, because 1 honest sentence or word a day is more powerful than a perfect page once a month. Technique number 4, make it visually rewarding. I also realized I'm more likely to open my journal when it's pretty. This seems superficial and trite, but it really makes a difference for me, and you might find it helps you too. Color, washi, stickers, and tiny doodles turn the habit into something visually rewarding. This is one of my favorite journaling techniques because it taps into instant gratification in a good way. You're giving your brain a tiny dopamine hit for showing up. I've made it a habit to decorate each day with some kind of fun element. Washi on the top and bottom are my favorites. So are decorative stickers and photo stickers. Your journal doesn't have to look perfect, with each day matching the last one in style and format. In fact, it would be hard to keep a consistent aesthetic style over a long period like a 5-year journal. Kudos to anyone who can commit to one look and feel for 5 years. I am not that person. I've decided that the aesthetic of this journal is intentional chaos, mismatchy, artsy fun. This makes me feel free to do whatever I want. Glitter might be in my future, seriously. Technique number 5, skip the guilt. Here's one of the most freeing lessons. You don't have to backfill missed pages every time you skip a day. A dated journal can feel daunting in this way, because with the page already dated, there will be a blank space when you didn't write. When you skip a day, just turn the page, just leave it. You don't have to explain to anyone. When you miss a day, or a week, or a month, there's no requirement to go back and fill in. Assume ahead of time that there will be days you miss, because it's inevitable and it happens to everyone. Fortunately, there are no journaling police. The blank spots are another valid record of your real life. You were busy. End of story. If you absolutely must, fill in those blank spaces. A sticker, a doodle, or one word will do. Perfection kills habits. Grace keeps them alive. Technique number 6, focus on mood, not memory. This one took me a long time to learn, and I think it's why I abandoned my earlier attempts at 5-year journaling. When I look back on the journals I abandoned, I realized that most of those old journals were just lists of things I did, or lists of news items that happened that day. It's nice as documentation, but it doesn't do much in terms of personal reflection, and it's boring to write. Boring means I'll abandon it. It's ADHD brain at work. So instead of just answering the prompt, if I mention current events, I focus on details about how I feel about them and how I reacted. This is where my rule that I can do whatever I want comes in handy too. I'm allowed to get sweary if I want to. I can react with my honest, uninhibited feelings, whatever they may be. This small shift turns journaling from record-keeping into self-understanding. It's no longer focused so much on what happened, but more about what I thought about it. In a way, it's like the editorial column of the newspaper, instead of the factual news article. If I ever do go back to read this someday, my honest opinion and feelings will be much more interesting than just repeating the facts. The newspaper and internet already documented what happened that day. Future you will want to know what you thought and felt about what was going on. So even if you're using pre-written prompts, it's good to sneak in a little emotional footnote when you can, because that's the part you will care about most if you ever revisit what you wrote. Technique number 7, turn it into creative play. Here's the journaling technique that might sound a little silly, but it's honestly my favorite. Every morning, before I write a word, I pick my pen of the day. I have a small rotation of maybe 10 or 12 pens I'm actively using at any given time. Some are fountain pens, some gel, each with their own ink color, writing size, and feel. The tiny moment of choosing which pen to use is part of the ritual, and using special pens is creative playtime for me. Keeping fun inks around is a pleasure I didn't know I was missing in my life. I find myself looking forward to refill time when I can choose a new shimmery ink or a deep, rich new color I just ordered. There are thousands of inks and so much to explore. It's a rabbit hole worth diving into if you're feeling up to it. The goal isn't neatness with my writing either. That's for another video. In my daily journaling, the goal is variety. This little ritualistic world of pens and ink gives me something to look forward to every day. You can tell when I've recently done a fountain pen refill by my fingers in my videos, often stained with some ink or another. As with so many other things in life, the more fun it feels, the more often I come back. What changed after 10 months of daily journaling? The transformation wasn't sudden. It was built one page at a time. After nearly 10 months with this journal, something has changed. Journaling doesn't feel like work anymore. Journal time is where I pause, reset, and gather the fragments of my day before they disappear. It reminds me I was here. I lived through today, felt something about it, and didn't just move through my life like a zombie. The best journaling techniques aren't about writing better, although your writing might improve as a result. Sustainable journaling techniques are about building a fun and easy ritual that makes you actually want to come back. If you want to start your own journaling routine, keep writing with me. Subscribe to get daily journal prompts right here via video, or get them as a free monthly download at darkmoonpaper.com/freebies. Now go make a beautiful inky mess in your journal, and I'll see you tomorrow.